Hello there folks, today we are previewing the game called Master of the Galaxy. It's gonna be published by RS Games and Igrology, and the designers are Timofey Bokarev and Konstantin Seleznev.
This is a 4X game and it's in Galaxy. You are one of alien races and you try to build your empire and become Master of the Galaxy.
So let it translate to my alien friends, Shabazi. Master of the Galaxy is played over the course of several rounds until one player reaches one of the three winning conditions. And you have expansion victory. When you build all your 9 bases on the board, you win the game immediately. Or you collect 5 symbols of one type, then you win the game immediately. Or you conquer another player's starting territory, starting system, you win the game immediately. That's really cool. So how to get there? I'm not going to explain all the rules of this game, just briefly what you're going to do here. So here you have the board, you have systems of different colors, you have planets around them, which indicate how many bases you can build, and you can also settle resources on these planets to get more resources. And these are the routes that you can connect systems with, and the main mechanism is a bag building. So in the bag, you have those resources. These are the cubes of different colors. On your turn, you will draw 3 cubes from the bag randomly and then distribute them somewhere, either on the board to establish new routes or settle planets, or on one of your cards. At the beginning of the game also, you will start with one of the species cards. Let's take a look here. So the anatomy is set. So basically these slots here are projects. And you will do all these projects by putting the cubes, usually in whatever order you want, on these cards. Whenever you fulfill all of them with the certain colors, you can get the bonus from them. So when you draw, you have, for example, this leader over here. So I have green, green, and blue. I can, for example, put maybe 2 of these here, and maybe a blue. I can start the route. When you start the route, you can either start it with the color. You have to start it with, you can establish only with one color, and you start it either with the color of the system from where you're going, or with the color of the system where are you going. So if I will start doing with blue here, establish the route with blue, then I have to continue with blue later on. But there is not much of the blue at the beginning of the game. Each player will have 5 cubes of each color resources in the bag. So you can gain resources basically by settling planets. If you put the cubes on these small planets, you gain extra cubes at the end of your turn. You can also grab cards with various extra abilities and such. For example, with the species card at the beginning, if you fill this slot right here, you will get the development card. I'll talk about cards a little bit later. So when you reach these, let's say, I'm gonna just build it somehow. Let's say this is yellow, yellow, yellow. Let's say when you reach a planet, you establish a route towards the planets, you can put a base there. The interesting thing is that you cannot just build bases from your reserve. You have to first construct the bases on your species cards or on the government cards that allow that as well. So, but let's here, for example, if you put those 3 red cubes over here, you will construct the base on your species cards, and later on, at the end of your turn, if you have available system that you are connected to, you can put the base there. Usually when you construct bases or when you implement development cards, you get bonuses like extra leader cards, conflict cards, or government cards. And these are all the different cards here. So this is basically what you're doing. You are distributing cubes amongst cards, enabling their abilities, and doing some extra stuff, getting extra cards, establishing routes, building the planets in the systems. You can also do it with the conflict instead of building a route. For example, if you have a conflict card, you can put it down as a conflict towards that system, neutral or another player's system, because you can never establish route to another player. You have to go with the conflict. And then whoever fills his side of the conflict first will get the benefit. Usually it's destroying the opponent's base and putting your own base, or just establishing a new base, destroying some cards or something like that, stealing resources. So you have all of that. But I think let's just take a look at what different cards we have in this game. So first of all, I want to talk about, these are the species cards that I already showed you. The species card usually have 3 different projects on them, so you can gain bonuses, extra cards, you can construct bases on them, which is really important in the game, one of the winning conditions, and you can get quite a lot of these symbols. This is also important for the conditions, and these are all the different ones that you can get at the beginning of the game, and also during the game you can gain extra species, so you don't have to play only with one, but this is a rare case. So here we have the government cards. The government cards have also some kind of a sidetrack where you can build either a base or build a card. Also here you have a bonus of another card, and the really cool part of the government, it's really hard to get the government, but you get the special ability, the passive one, which just works. You don't have to activate it anyhow. Conflicts are basically that if you win your side, you will get bonuses from your side, and you will get to steal resources from your opponent or get them from the reserve. While you are in conflict, you also can gain the bonus supremacy symbol right here, establish the base, and so on. Conflicts are basically two conflicts to go into the war. And the leader cards are really cool. The leader cards give you the ability to steal from your opponent, steal extra resources. Here you can use the black cubes. Usually the black cubes aren't the usual resources. There's only 5 of them in the game for each player, and you cannot gain them through any means. You cannot lose them from any means. And black cubes are usually used to cancel projects. For example, I'm doing this project and I don't want to do it till the end. I realize that I'm wasting my time. I want to get my cubes back into my bag. With the black cube, I can cancel the project and get all the cubes back into the bag. That's the main purpose for the black cube. Also, if you are in control of certain symbols, you get those certain abilities on the leader cards. I'm not going to explain them right now, but these are really cool, really powerful abilities of different kinds that you can get. So let's go to development cards. One of the coolest sets of cards are the development cards. There are 3 different draw decks right here. And what's cool about the development cards is that usually when you finish a project, you take the cubes away from that project, so you have to fill it again in order to get the bonus once again, and then you put the cubes into your bag. With the developments, you have to activate them by putting cubes on here. And when you have finished this, I call them basic technologies. When you have finished the technology, the cubes stay until you want to take them away or until somebody steals 2 cubes from there. So then the ability will be deactivated and the symbols will be deactivated. Basically, yeah, when you activate the card, it gives you ability and symbols. And there are different ones. For example, this one, the blue deck, is more about manipulating the resources in your bag or on the board or in the reserve. This is more like economic draw deck here, and this gives you some really cool expansion abilities or gives you variability in how you can get the constructions done better, or how you can get resources from the reserve onto the board without paying for them and such. So these are all the different cards that I've shown you so far. And as I told you, whoever gets to one of the 3 winning conditions at the end of the game will be the winner. First of all, I want to mention that you will get much better components from the Kickstarter in a full production copy. Basically, you get the miniatures and such, so it will look more beautiful. Here we have the prototype components. The artwork seems to be final or almost final. Of course, the colors will be better, but it's like a retro-y, space-themed artwork. Reminds me of Cosmic Encounter. I don't know.
Maybe because of the creatures.
Have some comparison to that. So the rule set here is the rulebook is well written, and there's nothing like bad to say about everything. Like is basically clear, I would say.
Yeah, I agree on that. However, there is one thing that was quite annoying throughout the game, which we know that now should be probably fixed, but there are some details and some exceptions. For example, if you're cancelling and stealing cubes from another opponent, then in some cases you can steal from let's say conflict, and in some cases you can't. So there's so many tiny details you have to keep in mind. So these small rules should be like generalized. again, we've heard it should have been fixed, but I had to mention because it was part of our game.
Yeah, basically I gave the feedback to the designers, and they will fix it. I'm sure. I think the rules are still to be revised. The rules are still to be finalized, and they will catch the typos. They will catch some rule misinterpretations and such. So I don't have anything bad to say about that. Now, this is a space-themed game, and it's sort of like a generic space-themed game. I don't really want to say anything about the theme, so let it be. Yeah. But on the other hand, the box states and the publishers and designers, they state that it's a 4X game. I had a question in mind. Is it really true that it's a 4X game? Because when you play the game, it's shorter than usual 4X games. It's not like you're building the big empire or something like that. It's not Twilight Imperium. It's not the Exodus Proxima Centauri or something like that. So, but I can explain those 4X's inside this game. Though it's be careful. I mean, like, it's light. It has those kind of spots of 4X's. But on the other hand, it's very lightly touched.
Yes, it's light and really streamlined. However, I would say it still gives you the feel of the 4X game, just in short.
Yeah, it gives you the feel, yeah. And that's where the game length comes in, as it's quite short. I wouldn't say it's 90 minutes as the box states. It's 60 to 90 minutes. We can play a 2-player game in 60 minutes, but I think a 4-player game,
I think it's
2
doable.
hours.
I think it's doable.
Doable maybe if you're really experienced in the game. Yeah, might be. Mm-hmm.
Or it's just we usually play it just a bit longer. However, I personally was still super surprised that we played it through 2 of us and 1 hour. I thought it would be still more. So that was a really pleasant surprise.
Mm-hmm. And where this kind of a question became about the 4X is that this is basically a backbuilding game. And backbuilding symbol is more of a Euro type game for me. At least we have this Orleans, we have Hyperborea, which was a fantasy themed game, which was basically non-themed backbuilding game. So this one has the same kind of approach as Hyperborea, so how you pronounce that, where you take few cubes from the bag and then you allocate them on the different technologies and such. So this is the main mechanism, and this is really interesting mechanism. I want it to be implemented even more in different games. I want to see it more. Yeah. So here it's done well, in my opinion.
I agree.
That's the biggest deal here, the backbuilding.
I agree, and I think it like matches the theme that this is your empire. Do you have more culture there? Do you have more perhaps aggression? Do you have something more? And whatever is going to come out, it's the way you build it. So yeah, I really agree that it's really neatly done here, and
yeah, it's
really
basically
idea.
The cubes are resources, and resources represent some kind of categories, like economy and such. So yeah,
I'll agree like that. Basic categories.
Yeah.
So this game has 3 winning conditions, and in my opinion, they're slightly unbalanced. The easiest way to win is to build 9 bases. And in that case, you pretty much don't even have to concentrate on cards, nearly at all. You can almost ignore them. So cards are cool, don't get me wrong. Almost each time we get the cards, we had this emotion, oh, that's a cool ability, or that's such a great thing. But you could totally play almost without them. So, but I would want game to force me to play with the cards, but it didn't. So
I gave Alina time to speak out, but I mean, like, I don't agree with that. I mean, okay. There are several games where, for example, if there are factions, then one faction is easiest to grasp, and then when you start playing the game the first few times, that player wins with that faction, with that strategy, whatever. Because it's the most obvious one. But when players get more experienced, I think they get it, and then the game itself balances out. I think that's the caveat here. That's the problem here, is that we are inexperienced gamers towards this game. And I think like you can win with different strategies, and they are more balanced than we feel they are. At least than you feel they are. Maybe. But I can see that building the bases might be the easiest, the more
Yes,
It is easy to grasp. I mean, like, but in the other way. And the cards, I really like the cards, and I think that cards are crucial. And when you build bases, when you build whatever levels of bases, you get bonuses. You get bonuses cards. Let's say you will not get any cards from, like, don't get any bonuses from building bases. You will be stuck. You won't do anything without those cards, without the leaders, without the government. You always grab the government card.
Yeah, but I didn't use pretty much any development or technology.
The last time we played, I don't know.
No, none of the games.
I mean, like the last time played with the government card, you start building bases even faster.
So with the cards,
I didn't really try to stop you. That's the problem. I think, like, in a two-player game, that's the thing but the balance can go out a little bit maybe in a two-player game. Yeah, I can agree with that, because if I will not try to stop you, you win the game. That's it. With the expansion.
However, how fun is it to play thinking to stop opponent? And how much cooler is to play thinking that I want to have my empire cool and I want to do whatever I want with my empire?
It's a Eurovia approach. I mean, like, this is 4X. I would say this is all about, I'm gonna be huge, I'm gonna crush you. That's the 4X game.
That's the second winning condition, where you crush opponent's home base. It is hard to do, but it's doable, and I think whole 4X come in play here, because you really gather all the force and you go, and you hope to win. But there comes this bag draw luck. I tried that, I failed because of the bad bag draw, but I still got the emotion.
Yeah.
So the third winning condition is collecting symbols. So you have to like have 5 symbols. In my opinion, this one was the most random, because you'll have one from the beginning. You can get probably 1, maximum 2 if you get super lucky from the board, but you still have to find correct cards to get the other symbols, and you have to be lucky enough to get the symbols you want from the deck. I never had that luck, never.
Although the board has those symbols, the species have those symbols, and the technology cards have those symbols. So if you will go heavy on technology cards, I think you can get those symbols. And if you get those technology cards and boost them, you can get really big. Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't tried the strategy. I think I want to go heavy on that next time when I play it. That's the thing. I cannot agree that it's... I mean, like, it might be harder for an inexperienced player, once again. So, what I like about this game is that you have this variety of choices that you can do. You can put of course, you put the cubes, yeah. But I mean, like, you put the cubes on the card, the technologies, or you do whatever they call developments, or you build base, you construct the base, or you build the route, or you settle planets to get more resources, or you steal, like... You can do quite a few things when you are in the mid game. You already have few cards, of course. At the beginning, it's less. But on the other hand, you have this kind of a feel of restriction, because you draw only 3 cubes from the bag, and you draw them at random, which means that you might not get the resources that you want. But that's where you want to build the bag towards those resources as well, and get more of those resources that you want into the bag. So there is that kind of a restriction that I can build a route from beginning to end with this and this color. So you get the colors restriction, you get those kind of a different rules, and on the other hand, you get this kind of a approach variety of empire technologies and everything else. So that's my opinion.
I didn't feel pretty much any restrictions there, to be honest. I feel that you would be stuck pretty much only if you don't play smart.
True that, but the restrictions, I mean, the mechanical restrictions, the restrictions that designer put in order to make the game more balanced.
Yeah, I didn't feel them as restrictions, that's what I say.
Okay.
Yeah,
whatever. Anyway, what I feel, like, we talked about different strategies, how you win the game. So what I feel is that you shouldn't try to grasp or try to get everything. I'm gonna do little of symbols, I'm gonna do little of that, and then I'm gonna do this because it's cool. Yeah, you can do that the first 2 games.
But you're not gonna win.
I did that, yeah, but you're not gonna win. You have to strategize. You need to go sort of at the beginning you can you can experiment a little bit and see what happens, and then at some point you need to go strict. One road, middle road, whatever. and then do the strategy you want to do in order to win the game. So
yeah, it is good and bad because yes, I would definitely prefer for the game to force me to do different things, but that's me.
Yeah, I want it to be like tactical, strategical even more. Not only with I draw these cubes, I have to do something with those cubes that I draw. So this is more of a tactical approach, but I mean it's not enough. I would like more of that. More of that. Something happens, now I need to adapt to that and then go with something else. So I would like more of that, maybe an expansion, something like that. So, and as we talked already about this, the issue about the inexperience and experience.
Yeah.
So the players need to have experience to make it for a more balanced game. That's my opinion. I'm not going to talk about much. So
I don't think it's going to be that big difference. However, there's something I'm going to mention. This game is really accessible for the new players as well. If you think like classical 4X games, you have to be kind of like a 4X game type of person. Here you don't have to, which is really good thing about the game.
Yeah, we are not. We're not at all. Like,
But
we don't play 4X games usually.
did quite well in the game.
Yeah.
I think.
Cool. So we played the 2 and 4 player game. What do you think about that?
Yeah, true. I was surprised how well it played with 2. It definitely not as good as 4. Yeah, I think 4 is slightly better because obviously the board is more messy, you get in the way to each other. 2 player, you might get only a couple of conflicts. In the very first game, we had much more things changing on the board, which I like more. Second, the playthrough you might see, we had pretty much 1 or 2 conflicts. If you have more players, you'll have more conflicts, and I like that part more. But it plays really good.
And you have more people to engage with. That's the thing. So you have like at least 2 corners or the middle, and I don't know, just more people, more variety.
Yeah, it's usually
plays better. Plays better with more bigger player count. So overall, I really enjoyed this game. I hope it succeeds in the Kickstarter and gets quite a few stretch goals done as well. I want to see the final production with all those miniatures, bases, and the whatever things there are, expansions, mini expansions.
All those stretch goals.
All the stretch goals, exclusives, whatever. No, I mean like, I want to see this game printed. This is a nice touch on a lighter 4X game with back building, which I really like, which is not used that much nowadays, except for a few that I mentioned before. And this is thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I agree totally on the same. So space, science fiction, and 4X games, I don't like neither of them, and combination shouldn't do better. But this one, I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. I was surprised how big emotions I got there. I have to mention that it was just a blast. I tried to conquer Ilya's home base. I
got the emotion there as well.
I failed, but it was an epic battle.
Yeah,
it was seriously an epic
battle. It was
like
the last time I had to draw exact cubes from the bag, like exact ones.
And my bag was built perfectly for that, but I just couldn't get my last
Each time I was standing like, no, Alina, please don't draw these cubes. And then when it was my time, please, I need to draw these cubes, you know. That's really cool.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say, if such a streamlined, like based on Euro elements gives you such a great emotions, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed how easily you can get it on the table without, I don't know, reading through tons of rules and like tons of exceptions. So super accessible. If
they streamline only a few things in the rules, a little bit more, I think it will be just a blast.
Yeah.
So this is Master for the Galaxy for you. Really enjoyed it. I hope you will too. So back it on Kickstarter, and I hope it does well.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. We see you another time. Bye bye.